Cole Nova is here, he's the leader of Alpha, leading the charge. Yeah. With his main man Heavy, hit up right by, hit his side at the raid. Together they fight, and drive their corridor. Rich and valor, fighting for good. They refuse to back down. In this war for justice, they wear the crown. Cole Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust. Fighting for their cause, they never back down. With Big Boy Leroy, his feet firmly underground. In the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. Through shadows of doubt, they light up the way. With power and purpose, they seize every day. Their enemy tremble in the dark. Cole Nova and Heavy Hitter, our heroes embark in the big galaxy that's covered by night. They bring the fire and ammunition to ignite. For it's Alpha they serve, their honor was true. Cole Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust. Fighting for the cause, they never back down. With Big Boy Leroy, his feet firmly on the ground. In the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. For every shadow, they bring the light. Cole Nova and Alpha, defenders of the right.
Talking AGP, anti-gravity project, I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will, got the dark matter token going up, I can tell. Hey, I can tell this is the start of something fresh. Shout out Hex Revision and Donna Hex, yes. I confess, Hexicans don't stress, cause as a community we one up. So tell me, are you in, or tell me, are you out? Do you want to win, or do you chase the clout? What is this really about? The treasury and lottery. If you meant dark tokens, you can get a part of it. So how does it work? Let me explain. First you buy the dark token, now you're in the game. Then you mint the dark and get a fuel cell. That's an NFT, one that earns yield. As long as you have it, it feels like magic. But if you vaporize the NFT, that's tragic. So most think crypto is a game. Are you here for the fame, or here to make a name? See, Hexicans reign, we create our own lane. I thought I told you, we the new financial gain. AGProject.io was the flow. And if you know what I know, then you know what I know. That's just how it go. Something like to support the team, the dream. Public service announcement, t.me/anti-gravity saga is the telegram. Tap in. It's for y'all. I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity project, I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will, got the dark matter token going up, I can tell.
Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Cuatro Cinco Studios. Where else but in my mom's basement. It's been an interesting week. Hell, it's been an interesting year in crypto. And I have to step back and say, what have we learned? What have we learned, kids, about this insane market and what updates we got going on? We of course have an art contest going on right now with reward points and dark matter as a prize. We have a lottery coming out on Sunday evening, American time, and we'll take a look at that one as well. We can vote for our favorite tokens. We'll just go through the charts. We're going to go check on our farming on Actuator. that we set up a few days ago. And yeah, maybe check in on Pink Mist Well, see how that token's doing. We do have some exciting and fun news next week for you guys regarding Pink Mist Well game. That being said, I want to shout out to Ted Nelson. It says, morning, folks. Good morning, Ted. I didn't really check to see if anyone else, let's see, it's about 9:30. I'm not seeing a lot of other people streaming right now. There are some spaces here. Let's see what spaces we got going on. Yeah, that one, DeFi season is back. I think that one has Nerd Girl hosting it. Yeah, so there's no big bad stream. Richard Hart's not streaming right now. I can tell you that much. Yeah, the links to join, of course, are always in our comments below, and they're in our Telegram as well. t.me/anti-gravity saga. It's a Telegram. Tap in, as Corey an Investor says. Anyways, let me jump into here real quick. Like I said, I'll check back here in the green room in the comments, but I'm just gonna kind of power through some of this stuff, and then we'll get to, what have we learned? What have we learned this year in crypto? More importantly, who have we learned to follow? I think that's an even better direction of where we're going here. So let me share my screen right here with you guys. There we go. Do that. Just give you guys a full screen view. First place we want to go, as always, is our favorite website in the entire world, which is agproject.io. This is the project where you're going to connect your wallet. We're still using Rabby. We might just add them as a custom network and continue to use them until we find something that takes its place fairly well. But either way, we're connected here to our Rabby wallet. We can check out the minting page, and the next opportunity to mint J4 fuel cells is going to be in 14 days, 1 hour and 15 minutes. So you still got a couple of weeks going on here. Let's see, what's today? Today's the 28th. So yeah, that puts us right around the 10th or 11th that we'll be able to mint for Journey 4. So yeah, in fact, it'd probably be the morning of the 10th. So right around 10:45 in the morning, 9 or 10 in the morning US time on Thursday the 10th. And then of course, if we click up here on tools, it's going to open up our beta page. And in our beta page, we can click on lottery at the top. As you can see, this jackpot right here was already paid. The next jackpot coming up here, including the evil bonus. So here's the evil. There's 6,000 that was going to be in the drawing already. And the scrape, you guys went and took the evil addresses, lottery winnings, and added that bonus of about 9,500. So we have about 1,924 dark matter tokens that are going to be auctioned off. We're actually not auctioned off, but drawn by a random number generator and get paid out. And here's another thing that I did to this wallet right here, which I don't think I've shown you guys yet. But if you go here to pulsemarket.app, we'll connect this wallet. And we'll go to My NFTs. We've added about 40 more of the J3 fuel cells in here. And out of these 40 that we have added into here, not one of them has won the lottery. So some of you guys out there have minted 40, 60, 100, not one yet. There is hope, because we're going to keep an eye on this, and we'll keep an eye on this lottery page. And if we win in any of those, it'll pop up here and we'll show you guys how to scrape. So we did add 40 more to this demo site to see how many you had to get to hit a winner so far. So that's what's going on. Again, see today's price of Dark. Dark's been doing this, working its way up like pistons up back into the $12 range right now. So let's see. Pull up our handy dandy calculator and just say $12 times 15, 9, 24. That equals about $191,000 worth of dark at today's price. And it's going down in a couple days. So not bad, not a bad haul at all, especially considering the market in this economy. Yeah, this market has been bananas, bonkers, and it's just been one kick in the mouth after another. Here we go to Coin Market League. This is a great place to list a token that you are interested in or shilling. It only costs like $50 to give them all your information, get listed on here. And then, of course, people come here and you can vote every single day. So we like to come here and vote for Carpe Diem. Oh, I got to refresh the screen. There we go. So we're going to vote for Carpe Diem. We're going to share it on X, as always. Then we're going to vote for Dark Matter. Give that baby a vote. And post that baby out there for everyone to see. And Coin Market League is also a great Twitter account to follow. So if you guys aren't on there, let me also vote for Hocus Pocus Finance, where you can farm the DAT token, Homie Don't Play DAT token farms from the No Permissions group. And then there's one more I like to find in here. Oh, there you are, Hex. So here's Hex with the eHex price attached to it. We're going to vote there. We are not robots. We would like to share this with the X community. There we go. Boom. Awesome. So now I can kill these 18 X tabs that I have open. And yeah, everyone, the votes are, I appreciate it. I appreciate your votes because this really does get us, if we can get up into the top 10 like we were, that does get some eyeballs here of other people voting and looking at these projects. And there's quite a bit of information here, including our Telegram, our Twitter, our website. The NFTs were tagged in the NFTs category because we got the NFTs going on. So yeah, it's a really good place, I think, to get our name out there, do a little bit of marketing. Of course, Pulse Market app is a place where you want to buy and sell your Journey 1, 2, and 3 NFTs. All these NFTs that are listed here. Let's actually go home. Search for Fuel. Look, there's some squirrels from Red Squirrel right there. Those are cool. I don't know if any of those are priced. We should check. So if you go to search, it's the last one down here with a Michael Jordan rookie card, or Journey 1 fuel cell is the first one that shows up here. And we're going to click on priced, and that's going to pull up a slew of these for $19.11. And as far as I can tell, you definitely want to double check and make sure that it's either D25D that is selling them, or no, go back to priced. Or there's another one here, I believe, that ends in an A that was listing some for sale here. BOA6. Yeah, I believe we checked this one out and saw that it had not scraped its winnings either. So yeah, you want to make sure these guys aren't selling spent lottery tickets. I mean, they're still cool because they're still piggy banks that fill up with dark matter. But yeah, everyone is hoping they get a golden ticket or a lottery winner on here as well. So yeah, make sure you check the seller and see if they've scraped through impersonator.xyz. And next we're going to jump into Actuator Finance. We have our wallet connected. We can go to stakes. And as you can see, we have earned 3.36 hex, and we've earned 3.36 HTT 7000s already. So we're going to continue to earn hex because this is a liquid T-share. And we're going to continue to earn the HTT 7000s, which represent the hex. And then, of course, in pools, it doesn't show our position here because we deposited it, but we are receiving rewards from PulseX on the HTT 7000 and hex pair. And then if we go to earn, we go to farms, then you can see how much actuator token we've earned. Come on, baby. Sometimes you got to click this one like 3 times. I don't know why, but yeah, you can see our I think our deposit was like $70, but the price of stuff going down is obviously not showing our $70 anymore, but $57. And out that $57, we have earned 1,150 actuator tokens. And if we want to, we can even take these actuator tokens and put them in a vault for 90 days and earn HTTs back. So we can actually put these to work farming, and then we can go all the way back here to our stakes, and we can actually retire some of our HTTs, or basically pay back this this loan right here. So because we took we extracted the HTTs to put them to work, and now we can actually have this actuator farm repaying back our loan. So you could actually end up repaying back your loan over time and keep all of the stuff you've extracted as icing on the cake. Again, let's take a look at this real quick, just to give you guys an idea. We put in about $70, which I now understand right now is like worth around 60 or 50, right? So let me click this. The third time's a charm. It's 1,151 actuator tokens, which is like, let's see how much money that is, actuator. So today, actuator is 303143. So let's take that number, 303143, and then we're going to times that by our actuators, which is 1151. So 1151, and that equals 36 cents. So if we made 36 cents, and this was in about 2 days, I believe, that this is accumulated. So yeah, you got 2 of these. Let's divide that or times it by what's 365, 180. We'll just guess and times it by 180, since that's 2 days in a whole year. Yeah, so we got about $65. Remember, guys, and that's of course at actuator's price, which fluctuates, but we could be making about $65 off a $70 investment. So this is actually closer to, it says it's, well, this is the amount of actuator tokens that are dedicated to the 7,000s. But yeah, it's showing our APR at 81.4%. So that's pretty, that actually looks like it would be that. Anyways, that's one of the best yields I can find in crypto, period. And you're sitting in the underlying asset of Hex. So if you believe in Hex, you believe that Richard Heart's going to come back with his ego intact and pump the price of Hex yet once again, which I do. This is a great way to put your Hex to work and take advantage of the T-shares and take advantage of this farming right here. Very, very cool. I definitely recommend that. Let's see here. Howdy, still sick, cough, cough. Cape Figure, you've been sick for a year now. I swear it's been this whole year. You've been sick, buddy. I hope you get feeling better. Hope you get feeling better. Good to see you, Cape. And thank you as always for the songs. Yeah, check out our songs and his songs in our Telegram. Some really cool songs. So that's Actuator. Another one I wanted to go over, which is hard to show you guys, is Hocus Pocus and the Hocus Pocus DAT farms. Let's see here. Hocus Pocus Finance. There we go. Hocus Pocus Finance, not Hocus Pocus the movie. Hocus Pocus Finance. This is hard to show you guys because we actually don't have anything farming in this wallet. on the demo wallet. But if you go to Farming Wizard, and I wish it worked, but if you just put Homey or DAT, but their search, it doesn't pull everything up with Homey Farms. So if I put like DAT, the only one it pulls up is, oh no, so it pulls up this, I believe this one right here, SRF Wrap Pulse LP, which this is a TROFA emission. That's not even it. But here's the DAT, Homey Don't Play DAT, and Pulse Farm, and it's paying 349% right now. So if you were to take your pair, see if you click invest, and then you click create 9-inch, it takes you over to 9-inch, so you can do a DAT and Pulse pair. And then once you've made the pair and come back here, it'll recognize it, and you can click deposit. You can put as much as you want, 25, 50, 75, 100% in, click deposit, and you will literally see the DAT tokens start climbing right before your eyes. And again, DAT token is it's right over here by Actuator. Where are you at? Oh, here we go. So Ink Pulse, Actuator, Ink Dollar. Nope, those are those. So yeah, we don't have the Homey Don't Play that one up yet. Let's pull that one up here. That's weird, is if you look up Homey, it pulls it up, but if you look up DAT, it doesn't pull it up. So here's the Homey Don't Play DAT farms right here. And let's go to 1 hour chart. That way we'll. So here's the Homey Don't Play DAT farms. It's bounced off of this line a few times right here where it is, and it went below it. So this is the Homey Don't Play DAT. It's about 2.8 cents, about 3 cents per token right now. Not bad considering some of the dumpage that we've seen here. I'm going to move this over by the Actuator token, the rewards tokens. And I tried to pull up the ink printer token, but I did not find that this morning by typing in print. But yeah, that one is, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. We're going to go looking through the charts here. Actually, let's take a look at our, let me check the green room real quick. Howdy. Yeah, I'll pull up HexT Armstrong as we go through the charts right here. So how are you doing this morning, Mr. Armstrong?
Oh, better than I deserve, like always. And how are you doing there, Mr. Pulse Ray Vision?
I'm doing good. I had a kind of a little bit of a salty attack last night with some of the stuff going on in the industry right now in our group in Pulse Chain, and I was gonna stream last night, and I decided it's probably not a great time to stream. Might have said some things I regretted, so yeah, I kind of slept on it and took another approach at it today.
There you go. I mean, that's great advice.
Thank you. Yeah, so as you can see, we've hit this crazy bounce right here on Ink, on PulseX, on Hex. Like, this looks like a pretty definitive possible new bottom right here, where it's really kind of bounced off of this line. Someone's come in and completely rejected this price down here on all of these charts. And of course, we got the pink Miss Whale here. That chart's, also going down and maybe hitting a bottom right there. Actuator again is down, but it seems, I think that this is going to kind of level out. We'll see. The DAT token, Homey Don't Play DAT token, is again bouncing off this floor. The let's see, this one is the Ink Dollar. So the Ink Dollar is not doing really well. A lot of people have been trying to arb it, like as it goes clear down here to like 91 cents, but it's having a very, very difficult time pegging it $1 up here.
I know. Fast, if you listen to this, or if you're listening, I was gonna do some snarky. I said, I was gonna say, hey, all right, ink printer, we pegged ink to $1.
yeah. Forget the other ones. Let's peg ink D to $1.
It bounced, and it is what it is. We need to collectively just keep educating that if this is the people's chain, if this is our chain, if we've got the tech, which we do, and if we got the products that, we're teaching a delayed gratification, maybe right now I have to change my mind about accumulation in liquidity pools. Find accumulation where we're staking in the form of minting in the future, like HSI, Hex stakes. There's a plethora of layer 3s out there that we can accumulate tokens without getting our asses handed to us in liquidity pools. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. And like I said, this print token, there's a bunch of revamping going on with Ink right now where you're able to put more things to work and earn more rewards. So we will see if that can revive the Ink dollar. Since it's been off to a rough start. And of course, if you look at the DAI token, eDAI, which is pegged to $1, it's doing a great job. It might be a little bit under, a little bit over, but the dollar, the DAI from Ethereum is pegged at $1, and that's the DAI that I like the most. This is the stablecoin I like the most in here. And then of course you got the Coast token, CST, and it is down from its peg right now. But the thing about the Coast token is you can go buy the Coast token, and redeem it at their website for $1.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you burn these tokens and bring them back into fiat, they are redeemed at the $1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's some, that's why it's so close, is because every time it goes down at all, people arb it right back up. They'll go buy it and cash it in for fiat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
You don't have to cash it. You don't have to cash it right away, but just remember, if it goes down to 97 cents, right? You just made 33 cents on each of the tokens you're holding in your wallet, whether you cash it out now or you hold it for 10 years. You still purchased it at a 3% discount for that dollar receipt.
Good point. Good point. And then we have the X protocol from Coach X right here. This follows the PTGC and UFO token right here. It's bonded very, very thickly with those. And as you can see, as the PDI drug everything down into the depths of the ocean, even PTGC and UFO and X could not hold on. But I do think, I don't know. I mean, this is quite an interesting level of support right here as well. So this may or may not be a good entry into X. Yep.
But look what's happened. We have basically been exit liquidity for players that aren't really committed to the Pulse chain. I mean, that's just the fact. Like I said, I'm in liquidity pools, but my liquidity pools now are in the Firewell and the SolidX index. Players that I honestly believe are committed to the chain. There's still, I'm not saying don't hold liquidity or don't hold PLP tokens, but there's definitely pairs that are supporting the chain and protocols. And then, unfortunately, everything got bonded to the PDI. And maybe it's a good lesson that, we can't always have the training wheels on it. Sometimes we've got to learn that lesson. And then now, hopefully, the faithful, even though we're all down, if we can get to where we're having buy pressure because we're all holding, and we're adding liquidity to the partners out there that want to make the chain successful, that understand the technology, that this is the place to build on. We just got to learn that lesson as a community.
True. And I've got to look into that Pyre stuff. Most of my stuff, like I said, is on the Homie Don't Play That, and this is the highest yield right now, is the DAT and Wrap Pulse token.
Yeah, but Max, but like
this one and Actuator are the best ones I've found right now.
Yeah, and again, the Hilarski partnership with SolidX and whatnot. I mean, you guys did I won't say you guys, but collectively that clan, did the right thing, said, hey, we're bonded with PDI and we're losing our butt, but we're going to do this. But they had other pairs to limit that damage far less than other protocols that heavily bonded with PDI.
Yeah, and you can see right here the Nope token and Wrap Pulse. Like I said, that one's this one's paying 1.8. So looks like that one's not paying as well. But some of these other ones, like the SolidX and Nope, that one's paying 29%. Dark and Nope, that one's paying 201%. The Homey Farms right here, the Magic Carpet Ride and Nope, that one's paying 463%.
That's pretty tasty.
I don't think there's much in there.
And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I do believe that that's a pair that is little to no bonding with the PDI narrative. And to me, that's a protocol. That's a group that's a group of people there that are trying to make a business case. They're putting their money they're trying to make a business case for the Pulse chain.
Yep. King Pooey's paying $296. Stack and Nope is paying $455. That's pretty good. Gelato and Nope, that one is paying $194. Yep and Nope is paying $318. Nope and Hocus Pocus is paying $264 in Homey. So yeah, these data missions, these DAT farms right here, I looked up DAT and I should have looked up Nope because everything comes back to the Nope token.
Right.
Spark Swap, that one's paying $14. Spark and Nope is paying $34. Vets and Nope is paying $293. Nope and SoundX is paying $484. And then you got $283 with Queen Pooey. The Two Fucks is got 400%, and the 9-inch Nope is paying $271. So yeah, and then of course Nope and Pulse is still paying $253. That's pretty good APR. I might go into a couple of these pairs today and snipe some of this high yield off the farming of the DAT token.
Absolutely. And like I said, yes, we want to support everybody on the Pulse chain. All of us have emotional attachment to certain tokenomics, certain devs, certain front end faces. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should divide your economic energy equally among them. I mean, the more diversification is great, but it comes at a cost at dilution. Dilution. So it's just, just keep an eye on what you have. And, and some of these bags you're holding, maybe it's a good thing that they're down and you're not looking at them. Maybe you'll come back in 60 days and you're going to have a little nice surprise in your wallet.
Yeah, good stuff. And then let's see, we went through the dollar tokens here all the way to X, and let's go through the dark tokens here. All the dark pairs. We got Dark and Nope, which is doing a nice bounce like the rest of the market right now, up in the 12s. You got Dark and Most, which is also up mid 12s. Dark Pulse, that one is also above 12. And SolidX, that one's doing pretty well. And Hex, up against Hex again. So we're about in the 12s with most of those today. Yeah, interesting. And then, of course, we have the Pink Mist Whale address here. And he is currently sitting on 72% of the Pink Mist Whale supply right now.
Do we have any current benevolent deals with our patron whale?
I've been working with these guys here at Pulse Market App and asked them if they would accept Pink Mist Whale or Dark as payment. And I'm waiting to hear back from those guys. because it would be good to automate this system so that when people send in Pink Miss Whale, they automatically get their fuel cell right away instead of waiting for the mystery.
So we would we send it to the Pink West the Pink Miss Whale wallet address, and then in the back it would make the full transaction and send the NFT to our wallet, or are we going to pay right on the front end there with Pink Miss Whale?
You just buy it with Pink Miss Whale on this
Okay,
website, and
cool.
then that Pink Miss Whale would most likely make its way over to this address.
Right. Gotcha.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool.
So other than that, that's about it. Like I said, we've got a lot going on Sunday evening. We got another special guest here in the back, Mr. Crispy Man, talking about the Pyre token. Let's. How are you doing today, Crispy Man?
Oh, what is the Pyre token?
Is you say Pyre?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what you said. How are you guys? How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
What token are you talking about?
I thought you were sharing something earlier about a couple of the liquidity pairs you were working on with Hexfire and Axis in that group.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I have a lot of them, but I didn't put anything up on it. Maybe somebody else mentioned something. I was looking at the comments in there because you were talking about the InkD, and Retrostatic said something similar to what I did. You can expect the InkD to really float around.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not going to get pinned
until redemptions.
Yeah. And so I have I provide LP with eDAI.
Yeah.
And InkD, but I put it on a tight range. Like I won't trade my DAI, 1-to-1 for it, because I don't want to lose the value, and I don't want to sell my InkD for less than $1 when I paid $1 in ink to do it. But I might swap other assets to get InkD because it's cheap, right? It's at a discount. It's like a 5% discount. And when that happened with Coast, it got down to 70%, and then it pegged. It was a free 30%.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the stable tokens, especially when they're not stable.
Yeah. Stables aren't. It doesn't mean they never change, right? They're affected by the AMMs. And so I thought you said Pyre because maybe it came up like PY Pyre.
Yeah, I think that was it. Was that the one you were talking about?
Well, yeah, you might have brought it up, and I think I brought it up too, didn't I, in one of the streams? But like in the whole voting over there, how 2FUCKS works, right? So the whole voting with the 2FUCKS and having to deposit it and lock it and all that. But that one's a Hex, eHex, and Fire pool.
Yeah, okay, that's the one, and that's what 2FUCKS.
Yeah, and that's why that's called Pyre.
Okay, cool. And Hocus Pocus has a pretty good front end for 2FUCKS. I think Hocus Pocus is easier to use than the 2FUCKS website, but it is difficult because I just relocked some of my votes and found some 2FUCKS in an old wallet. So I did that, but I still don't even know if I'm voting, doing my gauge vote correctly. So I'll have to check in, maybe watch some tutorials on YouTube.
Yeah, you can just check that. Yeah, when you go over there, you push the little gauge button. It'll tell you where your votes are. But yeah.
Hey, Crispy, I'm gonna take this opportunity to pick that beautiful mind of yours. I've got some Hex coming liquid, just because of my stakes are ending. Is there a particular? I'm looking for the highest APY, of course. Whether it's a Hexfire.io project or another HSI. Right now, where would you? What are the top 3 pools that I might want to enter? Whether it's a native stake or HSI or a liquidity pool.
Yeah. Just thinking about your question. This is a little bit more advanced stuff, right, to do. But here's what I would start by looking at actuator.
I'm already there, brother. Already
Yeah.
there. Love it.
That's
Yeah,
where I'm
and
making. I'm getting about 80% APY right now farming the actuator.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and actually, you could do it the other way too. It's not just the actuator, right? So we're I started calling them super bonds because it's like a bond, right?
Hmm.
And so
Yes.
if I take my hex and I go over there and look, I can see, like, for instance, right now there's quite a discount on the different HTTs, and you're already in, so you already know.
Yes,
One
sir.
HTT equals one hex in the future. And so simply swapping my hex gives me whatever the difference is in the future, right? So it was running at the longest running one they have, the HTT 7000, was at like a 70% discount. So I can get 70% more hex in the future. And so then this is how it's like a bond, right? So one hex is going to give me 1.7, I guess, something like that, hex.
I like that math.
HTTs.
That's easy math. I can
Right.
follow that.
Right. And so then what you're doing is you're locking in the yield. And then what Max just said is real important. You turn around and provide LP with hex and the token that you just got, and you can farm it. And so first you're setting up a V2 position that is going to have some nominal, amount of earnings, right? Increasing, those pools over time. But then you can go ahead and stake it and earn actuator. And the rate, the last time I looked, it was like 79%. Right.
Yeah.
And I get to go look at mine. So yeah. And so when you ask that question, I know you just didn't give you super complicated, but yeah, I would go look at actuator as one thing for sure. I mean, of course, I am still of the opinion of keeping my ladder up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But if this is like hex that you're waiting to do something with this in the next year, then staking it is like, it's not a great proposition. I mean, it does expose you to possible payouts with emergency end stakes, but even those will be somewhat minimal. I mean, it would have to be so big for it to move the needle. So it's really pushing people, unfortunately, towards go do other stuff with hex other than staking it. And I don't like that. But anyway, yeah. But so the HTTs are great, the actuator, and the only other thing I that's on my radar would be, we have other farms on 9-inch that you can get into, and I don't know them offhand what the numbers are. You have farms there. You have farms, I quote unquote farm on 2 fucks, right? So there are a number of pools that you can get into, and then there's simple LP. There are people that provide LP on both V3 or V2, or either one. And if I can find my sheet, I'll tell you. I'll give you an example. So if I go look at the hex pairs right now, there's always a lot of action on hex because it gets printed pretty good. Now, granted, people were probably using this pair, the hex EDI pair, to exit and enter, but it's paying 476% APR. And so somebody
is that
wants
on
to do
V2 on
that.
Pulsec?
No, 9mm. This is a V3.
Okay. So, but what pairs? What liquidity pool? How many tokens?
Yeah, this one is hex EDI.
Okay, copy.
But there's, yeah, I can send you guys if you want a list. I have a little graphic for it. Now on V2, there's been so much action with that PDI. There's still $1,000 worth of liquidity over there with the PDI and hex. And so that's spinning really fast because of activity. But let's not go there because we don't want that one.
Yeah, understood.
But hex from Ethereum, DAI stable coins up at the top. Let me look real quick here and tell you something that makes sense. So if somebody wanted to do most, and this is P hex on Pulse Chain hex or E hex.
Is that a question or is it both
Yeah.
either token?
or is it both?
I've got liquid coming on both.
Okay. All right. Let me look real quick here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
RetroStag says no, don't talk about actuator. Chris says actuator is really interesting. Yeah, like I said, when I did the tutorial live on stream with Bill from Actuator, I didn't want to share that information with anybody because I didn't want to. I want all the yield for myself, like we all do. So
that was my joke, as well, because I said that to Bill, because it took me a long time to get my head around it, even to pay attention to it. And then once you had them on, and then I talked to them, and then we went to the 369, then it really all kind of clicked.
yeah,
Right. And it helps that there's no yield on staking hex, right? Because before I would be making 15%, or 12% or 15% on a ladder. With hex now, I can't even do that, right? So it was actually an argument in my head that I would rather go native, right? So yeah, so Hex T Armstrong, that looks like most is a good proposition if you're a most holder. Hex,
Mm-hmm.
both eHex and Hex, apparently.
What
seem to
pool?
be
What
running.
is that again?
This is
On-
V2. This one.
On 9-inch or on
No,
Pulsar?
this is V2 on PulseX.
Copy that.
So they're running pretty hot. It comes down to what assets do you hold, that makes sense that you would actually go do. But
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Max, not to cross that line into looking like I'm, doing that sucking middle D. Your stream with it was a Bill with Actuator. That was probably one of the smoothest streams you conducted. It was very,
thanks.
very well done. I love the interaction, and I love the fact that as you were learning, you were also teaching, which is important for those of us that are getting on these cameras. If you're not a lifelong learner, you really shouldn't be out there. You're just if you're on stream, you're just shilling a product. But that was the best hour and a half I spent with you guys to date online. I appreciate that.
Good.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That means a
I
lot.
appreciate that comment.
Yeah.
I appreciate that comment, and I'm at the point where I'm like, don't talk about Actuator because I don't want people to come in.
Alpha alert.
Well, because I said that to Bill, right? I was talking to him because listen, I am in Hex and I'm here for long term, and so when I realized that I can basically get, a 200% APR or a return on investment, excuse me, that translates to something like a 15% APR until those would be redeemed, and it's immediate. I was like, why is this even out here? Like it's a gift that somebody put up the LP and is leaving it. And I said to Bill, I said, I'm going to keep talking to people about it, but if they don't buy it, I'm just going to buy them all. And he said, he said the same thing. He said, yeah, I've had to hold myself back because here's the thing is if we just like, I'm not part of that project. All right. So I guess I have the leeway to go do whatever the hell I want to do. But I mean, if you're part of the project and you're trying to get people interested, you don't want to take the opportunity away from them, right? Just like I don't put myself into all the pools heavy that I could possibly go in because I want to leave rewards for other people. Just because I figured out how to do something doesn't mean I should go suck up all the rewards. Anyways, but yeah, so we're watching it and I'm still looking at those HTTs and looking really good.
Yeah. And the other two tutorials on there, one of them is for Bistro. So OX Bistro, if you are collecting a token such as the DAT token, the Actuator token, and the Print token, you can actually sell those for stables or other tokens on Bistro. And that way you're not adding to that sell pressure of pushing down the incentive tokens. So you can actually continue to extract your, take profits without pushing the price down with the other people that are cashing out.
Yeah.
I got to jump off. Nope. I'm sorry, Crispy. I got to jump off here. I actually have to go and do my day job. But hey, Crispy, thank you for your time. Thank you always for the support that you generously give to the Pulse Chain community. Uh, and thank you for answering my questions.
Oh yeah, back at you, buddy. I mean, we're all here
Yep.
doing it.
All right. Love you all. Ciao.
Have a good one. Yeah, Hex Monkey says I gotta try out Bistro. Great stuff. Yeah, it is. It is great stuff. The Bistro is a lifesaver. We have razor thin liquidity with dark, which I actually enjoy having razor thin liquidity in this market because it's actually helped from getting us pulled all the way down as low as some of the other tokens have gotten down. But we've been buying and selling dark on Bistro at the regular market price or at a discount. So if you guys don't want to push the price against yourselves on Teus or on PulseX or one of the other aggregators, I highly recommend going to OX Bistro
Mm-hmm.
to both buy and sell.
Yeah, I considered launching a token related to dark, but I haven't done it. Yeah,
Yeah.
just because I considered it. That's all. Consider just means think about something.
Yes.
For those listening, but I was thinking about what would it be like if I put a token together that went and bought and rewarded me dark, off the market. A little level tax token just to do that. Because I'm interested in that token, right? So I've done it for other tokens that I'm interested in.
Yeah, and the trick to dark is we do have some burn tokens, but that's not really like our whole model is to buy and mint, because when you burn, that economic energy is gone forever, and a lot of people just price that into the chart. A lot of buy and burn tokens, people already know what the burn's going to be, so they've already factored that in. It's already priced it in. And when you mint something and lock it up, off the market, that economic energy is still there, just like with the Hex economic energy. It's just not sell pressure, right? So that's kind of the way we've been looking at it. Is that in fact that was one of the questions that the Pink Miss Well asked us. They said, what do you want me to do with all this? When he's still sitting on $52,000 of Pink Miss Well token right now. And like you said, he said, what do you want me to do? You want me to buy and burn dark? And we said, no, buy and mint. Like buying and minting is the best thing you can do for the price of dark, because it keeps that economic energy and it increases the game for everybody else. So yeah, good stuff. We will be testing out a game next week called Pink Miss Well game, which is kind of a mix between a lottery and Russian roulette. And we're going to be building that on top of dark. So it'll be buying dark as people play that game with stable tokens. So that'll be really exciting to get that. I mean, test is exciting, but who knows how long it's going to be from testing to actual, releasing it. That Amish kid says, what have we learned? Lots haven't. A lot of people haven't learned anything in this bear market. Unfortunately, you see them kind of making the same mistakes and falling for the same narratives. And unfortunately, right now it's the stupid tax, as Hex T. Armstrong says, is pretty high right now with what people are paying by trusting the wrong groups or believing the wrong narratives.
Yeah, my stupid tax is high too. Hey, I took back a couple different things out of this whole thing, not just that one issue, but just over the last couple of months. It's making me feel like I need to sharpen my skills at selling, taking profits, socking stuff away. Because and this is unfortunate, right? Because when I start feeling like this, it has more to do with I'm not trusting the people that are around me, and I don't mean personally, like you individually. I just mean in the community, like kind of makes me feel a lot like how Hex topped and I didn't sell, right? So, You know, it makes me feel that way. Anyways,
Yeah.
so I think there's a little bit of that. Now, the other thing I learned was, and this is something I've been preaching for about a year, and as soon as I say it, almost everybody who hears it will just shut off and not listen to it. Is you know what happened with my stable tokens? They didn't go down in value. And what happened with my stable pools is they kept earning. And every time I bring it up and I talk about, and I do this with my group quite a bit, I'm trying to get everybody to consider at least getting their initial stable pool set so they know where they have an end destination when the time comes to take profits. Most people don't want to do it. They're like, it always comes back to the same thing. And one guy said it to me on stream last night. Well, you wouldn't want to do that now. You want to do it when you get to the top. And I'm just telling you, man, you tell me when the top was, right? Or is. I don't know when it's going to be. And so the arguments always wait. Anyways, my point is I had converted and moved to 1% stables. And it's just a number. Outside of crypto, you would say if you had a really assertive, aggressive account, you would be like 10, 20% in USD, right? Because you always want to be careful and you want to have dry powder and all that. So that's not applicable to crypto perhaps, but maybe 1 to 2% is. Like, and you know what? It gives me peace of mind because that did not go down.
Yeah, true. That it's always good to start somewhere that you can lose as little money as possible and grow from there, get more risky or take more chances, or maybe go out on a newer platform or a newer concept. So that is really good advice. And of course, that's the biggest lesson I've learned since 2022 was take profit. Like I was sitting on all that 50-cent hex. Granted, most of it was locked up in stakes because we were good hexicans and that's what we do. But yeah, every day that hex goes down, it's another day reminding me I should have taken a lot more profits in 2022 to ride this bear out. I had no clue it was going to go this long or this deep. And also, I don't think any of us expected Ethereum to shit the bed the way it has, the way that they've been dumping it on things and not moving the way they should have, the way that they're letting all the L2s dump Ethereum. I don't think many people saw that coming with Ethereum. I think everyone figured Ethereum was going to follow in lockstep after Bitcoin, and it hasn't. And that's been brutal for the altcoin market, So,
yeah, it's been terrible. It's been terrible for us. Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing is if someone's recommending a product that burned a lot of people once or twice before, I think we've all made mistakes thinking something was a great product and talking about it and not so much shielding it, but promoting it and educating on it. And then came out to be like, oh yeah, that didn't work out the way we expected it to. And we all make mistakes. And if you have integrity, you come back on screen and you apologize to your audience. You say, guys, I was wrong about X, Y, and Z. I apologize, and you move on. There's a few people that come to mind, and I'm not going to name, that seem to keep touching the electric fence and convincing everyone else to touch the electric fence. And just when you see someone make 2 or 3 bad calls or shill 2 or 3 bad projects, maybe it's time to find another group or find some new YouTubers to listen to.
Yeah, I concur with that. I mean, I'm kind of formulating my thoughts on that topic as you're talking, right? Because I had a little bit of discussion about this yesterday with the Wake Up Hex guys who are now What the Hex, right? And we were talking about that, and I don't want to name the token because I do want to adhere to the idea that we do it, but I do talk about a lot of stuff, guys. I do. But when I'm talking about things, I'm like, hey, listen, go do your research. But I recognize just the fact that I talk about things. It's rough. Meaning, so here's the thing: is I don't know if it's fair or not, but if I talk about actuator, more people can go look at it. So is
Mhm.
it now my responsibility if that doesn't work out? Maybe, but certainly addressing, I guess, that it didn't work out. Now, I don't suspect that would happen with that, but this is the problem with all the stuff, and why a lot of my streaming, I'd say 90% of it, I'm like hex, because that would be very clear if I'm wrong, right? And so I'm careful, but now I like your project, so I do talk about dark once in a while. And I like actuator more because that's functionally I can make money with that one, right? I mean, of course, I can also do that with dark, but I mean, spreading the word for that, and then this one's a little bit more risky. I like Validator X a lot. I'm using their stuff, but all of these things, it's kind of duplicitous sometimes the way we talk about it, but as if Hex has no counterparty risk. It has very little compared to other things, but everything that I could possibly talk about all has third-party risk, and so it's either be a maxi or don't be a maxi, kind of. Anyways, I guess I'm just droning on, but it's very challenging, like to acknowledge the real world, and talk about things and navigate those waters, So just how
Yeah,
I'm feeling at the moment.
I agree. Hex T. Armstrong says, "I don't have enough dark. You don't have enough dark." And
Get
he
darker.
says, "Don't whiz on the electric fence." So you whiz on the electric fence, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people straight up peeing on the electric fence right now instead of just holding on to it.
There
And,
are literally listeners that have no idea what you're talking about, and so they don't recognize, don't know, that if you go to the right parts of the country, there are things like fences to keep stock in or keep things out, and so you don't whiz on them.
yeah, don't whiz on those.
Unless you are surprised.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and there were quite a few. I mean, back in the day when we were doing our airdrop, I believe Crispy Man, you were in several of the groups that we would go to and say, "Hey, we've got this dark token going on. Send in your addresses." And a lot of people ended up with 5, 6, 7, 10 airdrops because they just spun up a new address for each group, and we were okay with that. We expected that. But at the same time, there were several influencers from back in the day that I reached out to, and maybe I could have done a better job in making it feel less like spam or less chilly. But I was just basically saying, hey, like if you let me on your program to talk about what we're building on dark, then I'm not asking anyone to participate or put money into it. I'll just offer them all an airdrop. And a few people just kind of ignored it, and I get that as an influencer. I get a lot of messages every day that I ignore, but some of them were just basically said, no, I can't expose my community to a new project without being sure about it. And I respected that, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Unfortunately, some of these influencers turned around and shilled stuff that got people hurt financially really bad. Like after telling me that they couldn't bring me into their group, and I was like, okay, whatever. I felt bad for I really just felt bad for their communities because their communities could have gotten too dark and 2 fuel cells, per address. And it's just too bad that some people didn't take advantage of that. But those same influencers that wouldn't give their audience the airdrop, wouldn't let me talk to their audience. A lot of them are the ones that are going down the path with PDI right now, that are like continuing to encourage people to throw good money after bad, And so I'm just saying, like, look at someone's track record. If they're 0 for 4 on the projects that they've been shilling or that they've founded, maybe not follow them into the next slaughterhouse. That's about as like direct and delicate as I can be about that.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I mean, so I recognize we're not all at the same point in our journey, meaning, knowledge and understanding. And so that, yes, not everybody, the common denominating person, the lowest level person that we have, may not be able to discern properly whether they should get into something or not. But there is some level of knowledge, right, where it's okay, or that you can talk about something. Like I can talk about a lot of topics in the world, and people aren't going to go off and do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I talk about playing chicken with a train, I'm pretty sure that nobody I've ever talked to has ever actually gone and tried it, but yeah, I just think it's important though that people can talk about what they want to talk about. Nobody should be censoring you but you.
Right. And like when you're starting a new project, especially before the code's been finished and audited, that is a huge risk that you're taking on audit on projects that are that early on. We understood that, and that's why we went out of our way to reward the people back in the wish well phase that were just literally, we had a website and we had an idea, but the code was not finished or audited yet. Yeah. So we gave those guys an outsized return or reward in dark for believing in us at that point.
Well, I knew about your project back then. I just didn't get involved in the wishing well, right? I didn't really get involved till later. But that's kind of your point about, whether or not people do get involved with things. But specifically on your point about influences, some people I'm very close to, I wanted to talk about, I requested, I wanted to talk about certain things. And so I 100% get that. I don't like the duplicity of it. And sometimes I just blurt out what I want to talk about anyways. But, and I was told, I don't know this person. I don't know what this project is. It isn't evaluated. I don't talk about XXX coins, shit coins, right? Mm-hmm. But then the next day, they're talking about something just like you said. They got wrecked. And I think that happened right around the time of Alti. Yeah. And I was like, what? We can't talk about a cookie cutter Go Pulse token, but we can talk about, we can go talk about this other thing that clearly is like a very complicated mechanism, Anyways, but lessons learned.
Yeah, not only that, but I've been very harsh on even good friends of mine that have gone over and built on Ethereum. To me, Ethereum is like that abusive ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, once you get out of that relationship and you find a place, even if you go over to somewhere like Base, like I have a lot of respect for the way that Base works. I just don't know anyone over there. I don't know any communities on Base yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like once you get out of that bad relationship, why would you go back to that abuse and those fees where Hex was specifically targeted when it came to the gas fee, right? The way that it reads the contract, like we were singled out pretty exclusively over there and kind of told you're not really welcome here. And I know a lot of the whales still have Hex over on Ethereum. And for some people it's worth going and getting, and for some people the fees are higher than the Hex that they're over there trying to grab. So they might as well just spend that money on Hex at today's price than trying to go rescue that Hex that's, spending money on fees. But yeah, the fact that the Ulti was not even on Pulse Chain was the thing that blew my mind. Mm-hmm. I was like, wait a minute, it's not even on Pulse Chain. It doesn't have anything to do with Pulse, Hex, any of that stuff. It's just crazy. So I remember hearing that and being like, oh, I'm not even going to look into anything on Ethereum. And yeah, there's actually a couple of projects that I'm looking forward to talking about that are moving from Ethereum onto Base. Or there's even projects that, run on Base, but their tokens and economic energy are held on Pulse Chain. So there's a lot of nuances, a lot of shades of gray if you will, when it comes to picking an L1 or an L2. But the only thing that I think matters in crypto's community at this point, because it's a shared fiction, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
So,
is. Is it not?
What's that?
I said, is it not a shared fiction? I love that.
Yeah, is it not a shared fiction? And that's the thing about that. I think we learned, because I thought that a lot of people would come over for their P copies on Pulse Chain. I thought that would be enough of a motivation for crypto bros to come over to Pulse Chain, if nothing else, just to cash out. And what we learned very clearly in the full system state drop of Pulse Chain is that you can have a P copy of anything, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the community. You're not copying the community, So some of the communities over on Pulse on Ethereum, we would go over to their spaces and their websites or their telegrams and be like, "Hey, you guys have some money over here," and they were like, "Fuck off!" Like, get out of here! You're trying to scam us, right? And we're like, "No, there really is money over there." They didn't care.
I got that too. I got that too. I do not believe the PRC narrative is over. I don't believe it's over. But
you mean the copy or?
Yeah, well, the idea that it will bring people, that there's opportunity there, that there may be growth. Yeah, a lot of people kind of lumping it all together that, because of what's happened in recent events, and this whole idea is dead. Yet we see more and more of the tokens creeping towards ratios that indicate they're, at parity, or will be at parity. So more to come on that. I guess we'll just watch it and see. But you know what? It was, maybe we had to do it. I did it. Maybe we had to do it a couple times to get the learning through our heads that this is what people do. They sell. Yeah. But this is crypto, right? And so my first PRC that I tried to support, and we bought it up and we brought it up the price. Well, the guys who did wake up and ladies who woke up and they had it on the other side, and now they had their copy, they came and sold it. What else? What do you expect them to do?
Yeah. Well, and there'll be a price that does make them interested enough to come over and cash out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. If and when, I believe, Pulse Chain pumps finally, we're going to see people coming over to grab their money. If it's
Yeah. And it has to be a very slow organic process.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're sacrificing your value to make it happen. Right. I mean, it can be both. It could be a mixture, probably is a mixture, but I mean, that's just how it is, right? If you give out, and you're seeing it with your airdrops and the stuff that you're doing with the awards and everything, you give out a bunch of tokens, some portion of the people just sell them.
True.
And yeah. It's all working good with these PRCs until the people wake up. Like, you could send a PRC to an ungodly number, right? Because liquidity set up and all the rest, and it can get up there. But the person putting in the value may not get their value back right away. It may be that they're going to be hurt for a very long time. And so, some people have different strategies with that. We saw that with the Crow token. CRO, and what had happened with that. We saw that with the Peppies, right? We tried to do, Richard tried to do a little bit of Peppy work and put it in the farms and all the rest. But anyways, but there's a whole crew of people who believe in the PRC narrative, and even beyond, the token that shall not be named, but the idea there. Is that's a very slow thing, like building up. And one of the guys I respect a lot is this guy, Sonny. I don't know if you know who Sonny is, but he goes by Sonny the Detective. And he's like the master of a very large network of tax tokens and other tokens, reflection tokens, tax tokens, reward tokens. But from the very get-go, man, he was like, he had the vision that, you know, what I need to do is I need to go get every token I can, a portion, not like go crazy, but get every token I can from Ethereum that's bridged over and match it up with the fork token. You know, let them start grooving with each other. You know, get those fees going. And he's built, and a lot of people follow him with this. They've built a huge network of tokens, you know, that are out there, and they're embedded in Pulsion, right? So, I mean, there's lots of. I think there's just going to be opportunity for years.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing that I hear people say is we may have missed the bull run, like the bull run might have already come and gone, and I don't think that Richard Hart is patient enough to wait 8 years to show people what he can do.
Yeah, that might be true. That could be true with him and what his personal actions might be. I haven't. I mean, listen, this time could be different. The 4-year cycle might not be a thing anymore. Don't know, but it kind of looks like it still is a thing. Kind of looks like it's still on track. A lot of people talking about an elongated cycle into 6 years from 4. Specifically, you know, people citing the fact that there was an all-time high on Bitcoin before the halving. And so perhaps that's what does it. But the thing is, see, we're not going to know, right? You won't know. It's not like, I mean, we can all guess. Like, I could tell you that I expect to see an all-time high in May. Right? Why? Because all my data in the past has shown that's kind of what's happened. And if that doesn't happen, I could tell you it's going to happen in November. But you know when it's going to happen? It's going to happen when it happens. So I can keep talking about it's going to be, you know, next quarter, end of the year, next year. None of it will be verified until it actually happens, right? And then this is why it's very important for me to have a plan in place about what the hell am I doing? You know, like when I talk about the stables, because I'm not even sure I'll recognize. I mean, I'll recognize the signals that tell me it's the top and that I think it's the end of the market. But everybody around me, and maybe in part of my mind, I'll be like, well, this time's different. And so I may not pull the trigger. Right. And then, you know, I mean, look at the charts. I had so many opportunities to take like a lot of profit and get back in lower with Pulse. Just don't know when those times really are, you know?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. And like I said, I mean, there were a few people that claimed called the 50-cent top on Hex last time in 2022, but not many people, myself included, recognize that as the top.
Well, what's funny too is, right, and there might have been one person out there maybe that called that top and that was the only thing they ever called. But here's the thing is, if I called the top at 1 penny, a nickel, at 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, I was wrong 10 times, but I got it right in the last one. You know, it's a top. The top's in now. Right. And then, there's a pure genius at this point.
Yeah. Well, and as I'm looking at the charts, it feels like this last little bounce felt like a bottom that just happened yesterday, today.
Yeah.
But then again, I hate, I've been saying that for 3 years. I've been saying we can't go any lower. We're not going to go any lower. There's no way we go any lower. Yeah. And then we go lower. So I'm going to quit saying that. I'm going to quit saying that we can't go any lower.
Yeah, I keep thinking the same thing. You can't go any lower, right? But apparently it can. Now I'll give you. So I was able to listen to Toby yesterday talking about TA and whatnot, and it kind of scared me out of my. I'm not afraid to say it. It scared me out of my position with my INC-D, and so I took my vaults down. I've already been earning. I'm still participating, in it, but I don't want to be liquidated, right, with a 20 cent, INC or some crazy number, or 40 cent INC, whatever it might be.
Yeah. That's kind of where, like, I have no idea how much further ink's going to fall. We were hoping that ink printer would suck up ink and keep it from falling, but it's being dragged down with the rest of all the insanity right now. We got Hex Glenn in the house. What's up, Hex Glenn? And Prairie Banana. Hit the like and sub if you're new to Pulse Chain. Welcome. Yes, welcome to Pulse Chain. That's definitely something I've been working on too. Is
welcome
people.
Welcome to the dark side. I love you.
Welcome to the dark side.
I love you in the dark. And I'm supposed to. I need to print. I need to mint some NFTs, don't I? Yeah.
Well, the next opportunity to mint is going to be around April 10th. So you can buy the Journey 3 NFTs off marketplaces right now. And a lot of them are still live lottery tickets for the lotteries going down. But the next actual mint where you can turn your dark matter token into an NFT is going to be Journey 4. And that starts around April 10th. So I've been telling people, mark your calendar. I didn't think I'd have to tell people, mark your calendars over,
it's on the website.
But 11 days is a long time for people. Like there's 11 days of minting, and then there's 11 days in between each lotto drawing. And 11 days is an eternity in crypto. Like that's a long time to hope that people are going to come back and remember what's going on 11 days from now, right?
Yeah. Well, this last lottery, I did okay.
Nice. Well, you've got 2 more that you're still in. Yeah. So there's 2 more chances to win even more. And then the last one is right there, right before you can mint for Journey 4. So a lot of people are asking, what do I do if they'll win the lottery and they'll win 20 or 30 or 40 dark tokens? And they'll say, what should I do? And I said, I would hang on to them and use them for free mints in the next journey. I would just keep reminting, scraping and reminting and rolling that thing. Because you never know. It's kind of like we were talking about Actuator, right? We're all competing for the same yield in Actuator. And so you're kind of like, I don't really want to share this with anybody and have more competition. But that's the way it is with each journey in anti-gravity. Is that you never know how many people are going to be competing with you for the lottery and for the yield, right? So it's kind of good to get a piece of everyone and maybe go back and buy some NFTs off the market that are previous NFTs that have higher yield. So there's a little alpha for you guys, but it's great. It's great. I mean, we've got 94% of our token basically locked up in the top 6 addresses, 3 of which are smart contracts, and one of them is the mystery box.
Yeah.
So, and then you have 2 wells. You have the pink mist well and you have a mystery well up there. And neither of those addresses have ever sold dark. And I don't know if they ever will. But yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think people understand how rare dark is right now because it's being sold for $12 a pop. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there was a time when you could have gone and bought a Michael Jordan rookie card for a few cents in a pack of, playing cards, right? Or Babe Ruth or whatever. I mean, at one point, these collector's items were very cheap. And that's what makes them exciting is when something is cheap, like, Beanie Baby or a painting or something like that. Someone gets a good deal on it. And then 10, 20 years later, it's just worth a fortune. And that's kind of the game that we have here. We have collectibles and we have the most scarce token supply ever that I know of. I don't know any other token supply that's gone to a circulating supply of 0. Obviously, outside of LP, there will be LP when the rapture happens in 4 years. But other than that, any tokens that are sitting in a wallet not being used, they're all going to be destroyed forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, like I said, I don't know if we're geniuses or if we're insane, but
we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out.
I was so despondent that I didn't win the last set of lotteries,
the previous
journey, that I rage minted
That's the way to do it. You got to rage mint. That's what we like to hear. Some good old rage minting. Mr. Rock Jockey's saying, doing a selfie here. Good to see you, Mr. Rock Jockey. So, anyways, yeah, I think we've covered just about everything here. Follow Crispy Man at Hexfire.io on Twitter and check out his website, hexfire.io.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it, but if I were you, I would. There's certain people in this community that over time have proven themselves not just good sources of information, but also good sources of perspective. And I would definitely put Sloth, Crispy Man, Axis. There's Coffee. There's a lot of people that it's just as important to hear their perspective as it is to hear their content.
Yep, I'm with you there.
So yeah, listen for perspective and for content. It says, pull up my 99 days on the chain meme on Telegram. Okay. 11 days on the pain chain is an eternity. All right, let's check that out.
Hey, shameless plug. We have a
Yes.
Pump Tires token called Pain Chain. And it's one of the few that made it.
Which one is it on Pump.Tires?
It's actually graduated a long time ago now, but and I didn't make it. I just participated in getting it launched in LP. So,
do you know what's the ticker?
Pain
Chain.
For the Pain Chain.
It's got this guy Harold Hide the Pain Harold on it, or is that a different one?
No, go down further, or you just type in Pain Chain and you'll see.
Here it is, Pain and Wrap Pulse with it's got the liquidity there. Pain Chain, look at that baby, that one's nice. Let's go to 4 hours. Yeah, look at that. That's not bad at all. Usually this death candle is all you see on most of the stuff that's graduated, right? Like this is what you see after something graduates from here, because all the bots that jumped in during graduation dump and extract the pulse. But then like you beat the graduation. This is huge. And then let's do this in log. Yeah, nice. So there's the pain chain. It's up to it went all the way up to about 5/100ths of a penny. Now it's a 2/100ths of a penny. Pretty interesting. That is one heck of a jump right here.
Yeah, that was a run up for sure. Now on the right hand side, does it show you the logo and all that if you go up to the top?
No, but doesn't put the banner here on Gecko Terminal, but I bet
yeah. I'm sorry.
I shows it on Dex.
Yeah, got it.
So if I go to Dex Screener, and Dex Screener actually pulls up dark. If you look up dark, it pulls up a lot of darks, but
yeah, I just mistook which site you're on. I was just curious because I know we put it up there. So that's why.
All right, yeah, here's Pain Chain there. So Pain has this one, automated liquidity management.
No.
Nope, that's not it.
No.
Let's try this again.
You caught one of the first one. Put in Pain Chain.
Yeah, there
Pain
we
Chain.
go.
There
Right there. Yep. Here's Pain and Fire. It's not showing the liquidity here. That's the one thing that Dex Screener is not great at, is showing liquidity.
Oh, there's so many pairs you can't see.
But here's the pulse. This has the liquidities. 30. Oh, that's V3. That's why. Solidex Inc. Here, I'll do this. I'll go to Pain Fire, which this is very similar to the chart right there. Big elephant trunk right here you got going on. And this pair has unknown liquidity. I doubt that. I bet you know what the liquidity is.
Well, I know what the liquidity is, but because I go back there and see it.
Right.
But yeah, Pulse Chain, there's this weird gatekeeping that happens with tokens that don't get whitelisted, and so they don't do prices, and so it's just weird.
Here's the one with 25 grand of liquidity on it, right here.
That's the main one. Yeah, because that's the sunk liquidity. from the pump tires. So this
Looks
is a good
nice.
experiment. This is a good experiment because we did have the down, like normal, like everybody, right? But then the community came in and started bringing it up. And then later on, some sharks and whales got interested and they went up. And then, of course, people took profits. So now we're in some sort of profit taking kind of thing.
Awesome.
And well, look at it on Pulse. Click on Pulse for the Pulse ratio.
Right here, up top.
Yeah, right there. Way different scenario here. Wow, I guess.
Yeah, see, it's definitely doing better than Pulse on this one.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, that's
but
the cheat
we like
right
that.
now.
Yeah, the guy who made it did a really good write up, and I think it's on the page if you scroll down on the right hand side. It should be a description down there somewhere.
Right here. Yeah, Pain Chain is more than a token. It's a badge of honor. It represents struggles, gatekeeping, relentless determination of the Pulse Chain community. Every rug pull, every wave of FUD, and the constant scrutiny of Richard Hart's every move it's all part of the journey. Pain isn't just a meme, it's a movement, a symbol of survival, resilience, and sacrifices we've made. Whether you've been here since the beginning or just joined the fight, Pain is your proof of battle. They tried to keep us down. We built anyways. They tried to silence us. We got louder. Pulse Chain is for those who embrace the struggle and wear it like armor. If you felt the pain, you already belong. Own the pain. Hold the token. Pain. Now, this is a Pump Tires launch on Pulse Chain. Nice. Yeah, and we've been referencing Fight Club a lot recently here.
Yeah.
So much more like Fight Club as a community than as a cult or, like a multi-level marketing community or a church community. This cult is very, very Fight Club-esque.
Yeah.
And what it takes to have the grit to hang into this one.
As soon as you said Fight Club, I was going to agree with you and say, yeah, but without the crazy. And then I realized, no, we already have the crazy.
You're like, well,
so it's just like Fight Club.
Yes, it totally is.
Just like Fight Club.
Yeah. So.
I'm sure that that Armstrong wasn't referencing it because of that token, but I thought it was interesting to use the Pain Chain because that's the thing. That's the meme. Pain Chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let me pull up General here. I'm trying to find the meme here. There we go. We have the YMCI right here. This is the meme right here with Hex T Armstrong. Wanted us, he says, after 99 days on Pulse Chain, the beating shall continue till the morale improves. And then this is the YMCA vibes coming through with that one. I don't know if this is the one he's referring to or if he posted one on Twitter, but he said to check that out.
Who doesn't like singing YMCA at a wedding? Come on.
Yeah. 99 days on the chain. Nice. And then, of course, Hexato's in the house with an emoji. Thank you very 11 days on the Pain Chain is an eternity. It really is. It really is. So, all right. So let's close that right there. Let me unfreeze my little face here. Say farewell to all you lovely people. You hung in here for another hour and a half, which is so nice. So kind of you to spend your time with us. We're going to go out on some of this music here from the community, including Cape Figure and Corey and Investor. And we will catch you guys tomorrow. Love ya.
See you guys.
Cole Nova is here. He's the leader of Alpha, leading the charge. Yeah. With his main man Heavy, hit up right by, hit his side at the raid. Together they fight, the guards that corner, Rich and Valor, fighting for good. They refuse to back down in this war for justice. They wear the crown. Cole Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust. Fighting for their cause, they never back down. With Big Boy Leroy, his feet firmly underground. In the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. Tree levels a tree, so we all walk now. Feel like through shadows of doubt, they light up the way. With power and purpose, they seize every day. Their enemy tremble in the dark. Cool Nova and Heavy Hitter, our heroes embark in the Bugatti that's covered by night. They bring the fire and ammunition to ignite. For it's Alpha they serve, their honor was true. Cool Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust, fighting for the cause, they never back down. With big boy warriors, feet firmly on the ground. In the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. For every shadow, they bring the light. Cool Nova and Alpha, defenders of the right.
I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity, project I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will, got the dark matter token going up, I can tell. Hey, I can tell this is the start of something fresh. Shout out Hex Revision and Donna Hex, yes. I confess, Hexicans don't stress, cause as a community we one up. So tell me, are you in, or tell me, are you out? Do you want to win, or do you chase the clout? What is this really about? The treasury and lottery. If you meant dark tokens, you can get a part of it. So how does it work? Let me explain. First you buy the dark token, now you're in the game. Then you mint the dark and get a fuel cell. That's an NFT, one that earns yield. As long as you have it, it feels like magic. But if you vaporize the NFT, that's tragic. So most think crypto is a game. Are you here for the fame, or here to make a name? See, Hexicans reign, we create our own lane. I thought I told you, we the new financial gain. AGProject.io with the flow. And if you know what I know, then you know what I know. That's just how it go. Something like to support the team, the dream. Public service announcement, t.me/anti-gravity saga is the telegram. Tap in. It's for y'all. I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity, project I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will, got the dark matter token going up, I can tell.